be with you.
And with your spirit.
A proclamation from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The Samaritan woman said to Jesus, "Sir, I can see you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you people claim that Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship God." Jesus told her, "Believe me, woman, an hour is coming when you will worship the Father, neither on this mountain or in Jerusalem. You people worship what you do not understand, while we understand what we worship. After all, salvation is from the Jews. Yet an hour is coming, and is already here, when authentic worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. Indeed, it is just such worshippers the Father seeks. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth. And dear friends, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Sisters and brothers, we celebrate today the 44th feast day of our parish, St.ALFRED's Church. I have not read much about St.ALFRED, but I know he was known for building churches, especially in Germany. And one of the reasons why our parish was named after him is because those who donated funds for the construction of our church building were the Catholic people of the Diocese of Germany. A few days ago, I went to Germany through Google.com to do some research about St.ALFRED. But that's a little history I got. I'm sure St.ALFRED has been happy for having this church, a house of God built after his name. However, more than that, St.ALFRED wants us all, especially who belong to this parish, to build a place for God in our heart. Please ask me why. He wants us all to build a place for God in our heart, because it is also what God desires. In our first reading today, from the book of the prophet Isaiah, God says, what house or resting place would you build for me? My hands have made all this. What I am looking for is the meek and contrite of heart, the one who is God-fearing. However, the gift of fear of the Lord is sometimes misunderstood because of the word fear. Fear of the Lord is not a fear whereby a person serves God simply because he fears punishment, whether it is some sort of temporary punishment in this life or the eternal punishment of hell. This fear of the Lord is a fear that moves a person to do God's will and avoid sin because of love for God, who is all good and deserving of all our love. Our genuine relationship with God is based on love, not on fear. But the question is, what kind of God we live? What kind of God we fear? What kind of God we worship? This is the issue which Jesus is discussing with the Samaritan woman in our gospel today. Early in his ministry to the Jews, Jesus needed to travel through Samaria. And during his journey, he came to a city where there was a well called Jacob's well. When Jesus came to that place, he sat down to rest at Jacob's well. And at noontime, he met a Samaritan woman who came to draw water at the well. And they had a significant conversation, talking about the kind of God whom we worship. Jesus told to the Samaritan woman, "You people worship what you do not understand, while we understand what we worship." Now the question is, do we know whom we worship? Do we really understand why we worship Him? Can you please tell your friend, with the right friend, I know whom I worship? And please tell your friend, and your left friend, I do not know you. Sisters and brothers, let us remember that the most important aspect of our faith is not how hard we believe, but whom we believe. The first commandment tells us that there is only one God. And one of the most important things about God is that it's not simply that He demands to be worshipped, but to be worshipped alone. It is because He clearly said, I am the Lord your God, and there is no other. And the church will always remind us this commandment. Please ask me why? Because sometimes we tend to love other things more than God. We want other things more than God. We treasure other things more than God. It could be money, wealth, or even person. One day, I think I told you this story before, that one day I was listening to a radio program of my classmate, a priest. And at that time, he asked this question: what is more important? Money or honey? What is more important? Money or honey? To this question, someone responded saying, Father, it is money. It is money. Because as time goes by, money earns interest. While money, as spouse, money loses interest. I don't know if that's true. But sisters and brothers, God always reminds us that as our Creator, He is infinitely beyond any of His creatures. He is always greater than others and anything else. Even in married life, not all couples have forever. It's either our partner loses his or her interest on us, or the other way around. It's us who lose our interest on our partner. But with God, there is forever. That is why He should be our number one forever. Let us say that together. God is my number one forever. Come on.
God is my number one forever.
God is our number one forever. But how many times we fail in loving God? This time of pandemic, how many times we have taken for granted God's invitation to worship Him and to pray more to Him. But you know, God is still loving us. He is still willing to forgive us and embrace us. And He is the only one who can do it. And so He is the God whom we have to worship. A God who deserves a place in our heart. In this Mass, let us pray that through the intercession of St.ALFRED, whose feast we celebrate today, may God give us a chance and courage to place or to build a place for Him in our life. And let this be our prayer